Why do you think Trump won? Was it because of swing voters? Who actually made Trump win?
Whether you are young, whether you are old, whether you are Asian or Hispanic, whether you are gay.
Is this a global conspiracy? We have lots of numbers for you and some real advice for those campaigning in the midterms. So what can we see from this analysis? Well, we'll have to listen to the rest of this episode of the Tech and Tactics podcast by caller.
Let's just say it. 2024 was a political earthquake. Trump didn't just squeak by Kamala Harris, he crushed her in the Electoral College 312 to 226. And for the first time ever, the Republicans also won the popular vote. This is not a fluke. That's a fire alarm fire for the Democrats.
And the turnout? Off the charts. 64% of eligible Americans voted. That's massive. But here's the kicker. It wasn't Democrats coming to the polls in record numbers. It was Trump's people. A new wave of voters who had never bothered to vote before. 15% of Biden's voters in 2020, meanwhile, they just stayed at home.
Let's get the obvious out of the way. If you're a white, blue-collar guy in rural America, you voted for Trump. If you go to church every Sunday, you voted for Trump. There's no surprises there.
But here is what should keep every Democrat awake at night. Trump has exploded his numbers with the minorities. He jumped from 36% to 48% with Hispanics. He doubled his share among black voters from 8% to 15%. And he shot up from 30% to 40% with Asians. That's not a blip, that's a trend.
And get this, Trump's support among naturalized citizens, it's up from 38% to 47%. That's supposed to be a Democratic firewall. Gone.
But let's not kid ourselves. Millions of minorities have not suddenly fallen in love with Trump. The real story? Democrats just didn't show up. Only 50% of registered Hispanics voted in 2024. The same number was 53.7% in 2020. So yeah, Trump's share looks bigger, but it's because Democratic-leaning voters just ghosted the election.
Exactly. There was no massive party switch. The swing is a mirage. The real disaster is the turnout gap. Republicans are locked in. Democrats are leaving votes on the table again.
Let's put that in numbers just to prove it. 15% of Biden's 2020 voters did not vote in 2024. 6% of 2020 voters flipped to Trump or a third party. How about some other numbers? What about youth turnout? 58% for young white women. What about young black men? The key demographic for Democrats, just 25%. That's catastrophic.
So what is the lesson here? Democrats can't just debate better or run smarter ads. They need to drag their voters to the polls. Use every digital tool, every data trick, every ounce of ground game. Because if they don't, 2026 is going to be a bloodbath.
But let's be real here. Is the party going to actually learn, or are we going to be sitting here 2 years later writing yet another obituary for the Democrat Party?
I mean, if they don't wake up, they deserve to lose. The GOP base is locked in. The only way out is to out-hustle them on turnout, period.
So Democrats, start fighting the turnout war. The numbers don't lie. If you don't get your people to the polls, you lose. End of story.
That's all for today's Tech and Tactics podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes.